Breadcrumbing is when someone leads you on with just enough attention to keep you interested, but without genuine intentions of building a meaningful connection. It's an emotional game that leaves you confused, frustrated, and drained. But here's the thing. Stoicism, the ancient philosophy focused on inner peace and self-mastery, offers timeless strategies to deal with this kind of behavior. Let's explore the 5 signs of breadcrumbing and how Stoicism can guide you to take back your power. Inconsistent communication. When someone communicates with you inconsistently, it can feel like a roller coaster. One day, they flood your inbox with messages or shower you with compliments. The next, they vanish without explanation. This erratic behavior leaves you confused and anxious, waiting for their next move, unsure where you stand. This pattern isn't just frustrating, it's emotionally draining. And as Stoicism teaches us, it's a waste of your mental energy to dwell on things outside your control. Let's explore how the Stoic principles can help you rise above the chaos of inconsistent communication. Inconsistent communication is a classic breadcrumbing tactic. The unpredictability creates a cycle where you're constantly seeking validation, and the other person holds all the power. From a Stoic perspective, this situation is the perfect example of letting external events dictate your emotions. Stoics believe that living a fulfilling life requires shifting your focus inward, to what you can control. When you're trapped in this cycle of inconsistent communication, your peace depends on someone else's behavior. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The question is, how do we apply this to the problem of erratic communicators? One of the core principles of Stoicism is the dichotomy of control, which separates life into 2 categories: things you can control and things you cannot. What you can't control, when or if the other person decides to reach out. The content, frequency, or quality of their communication. Their level of interest or intent. What you can control, your reaction to their behavior. How much mental energy you dedicate to them. Whether you continue to engage with the relationship. By recognizing what's outside your control, you free yourself from unnecessary emotional turmoil. You cannot force someone to communicate consistently, but you can control whether you let their behavior affect your peace of mind. Detachment doesn't mean ignoring the other person or shutting off your emotions. It means no longer allowing their inconsistency to disrupt your inner peace. Epictetus advised, if you are disturbed by something, it is not the thing itself that disturbs you, but your judgment about it. In the case of inconsistent communication, your frustration comes from expecting consistency. When that expectation isn't met, it triggers disappointment. Instead of clinging to this expectation, adopt a Stoic mindset. Acknowledge reality. Accept that their behavior reflects them, not you. Adjust your focus, shift your energy toward pursuits and people that align with your values. Redefine the relationship. If their inconsistency doesn't align with what you want, it may be time to reprioritize. Stoicism emphasizes living in alignment with your values. Ask yourself, what kind of relationships add meaning and purpose to my life? Does inconsistent communication align with the kind of mutual respect I value? Seneca said, associate with people who are likely to improve you. If inconsistent communication leaves you feeling uncertain, anxious, or undervalued, this may be a sign that the relationship does not align with the virtues of wisdom, courage, and integrity. Breaking free from the grip of inconsistent communication is empowering and aligns with Stoic teachings. Here's how to apply Stoicism in practice. Set boundaries. Clearly define what level of communication you're comfortable with, and stick to it. Redirect your attention. Focus on activities and relationships that bring you joy and contribute to your personal growth. Practice self-sufficiency. Remind yourself that you do not need external validation to feel valued. Your worth is inherent and independent of others' actions. Remember, as Marcus Aurelius wrote, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. You have the power to choose your response and protect your peace. Inconsistent communication is a tool that keeps you waiting and second-guessing yourself, but it doesn't have to control you. By embracing the Stoic principle of focusing on what's within your control, you can break free from the emotional roller coaster and prioritize relationships that reflect your values. When you let go of the need for external consistency, you gain something far more valuable: inner peace. Stoicism reminds us that the key to happiness isn't found in someone else's behavior, but in our ability to master our own responses. Empty promises. Empty promises are one of the most frustrating aspects of breadcrumbing. They're given just enough substance to keep you hooked, but never enough to manifest into reality. Whether it's vague commitments like "we'll see each other soon," or ambitious claims like "someday we'll have it all," these promises fuel a false sense of progress. From a Stoic perspective, such promises highlight an important truth: placing your trust in words rather than actions can lead to unnecessary frustration. Let's explore how Stoicism helps you deal with the disappointment of empty promises by focusing on clarity, logic, and personal empowerment. Empty promises are emotionally effective because they appeal to our hope for something better. You invest your time and energy waiting for those promises to be fulfilled, while the other person reaps the benefits of your patience. In the words of the Stoic philosopher Seneca, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Allowing empty promises to control your thoughts and decisions is a misuse of your precious time. The Stoic dichotomy of control provides a valuable lens to navigate the problem of empty promises. Here's how this principle applies: what you can control. Whether the person keeps their promises, the timeline or circumstances of when, or if they decide to act. What you can control: your reaction to their broken promises, your choice to continue believing them, how much time and emotional investment you're willing to give. Epictetus advised, make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. By shifting your focus from their words to your own actions, you regain agency over the situation. The Stoics emphasize the virtue of wisdom, which involves seeing things as they truly are, not as we wish them to be. When dealing with empty promises, it's crucial to separate fact from fiction. Words are cheap, promises without action are just words. Pay attention to patterns of behavior rather than the fantasies they create. Hope is a double-edged sword. While hope can be empowering, misplaced hope in someone's words can lead to disappointment. As Marcus Aurelius said, you must discard the past, let go of the future, and live only in the present moment. Ask yourself, is this relationship based on reality, or am I clinging to a future that exists only in promises? A Stoic approach requires radical honesty. Another cornerstone of Stoicism is courage, the strength to let go of things that don't align with your values or growth. Letting go of a person's empty promises isn't an act of defeat. It's an act of self-respect. Seneca's words offer clarity here. To let go is to free yourself. It takes courage to recognize when someone's promises are not contributing to a meaningful connection and to walk away in pursuit of relationships that do. Here's how you can practically apply Stoic principles to overcome the cycle of empty promises. Recognize the pattern. Write down the promises that have been made and whether they've been kept. Seeing it laid out clearly can reveal the truth. Set clear boundaries. Decide what you're willing to tolerate. Let the other person know that actions, not words, are what matter to you. Detach emotionally. Epictetus reminds us, it's not things that upset us, but our judgments about them. Stop attaching your happiness to promises you can't control. Focus on the present. Instead of waiting for promises to be fulfilled, invest your energy in things that bring you joy and purpose right now. Evaluate the relationship. Is this dynamic aligned with your values of respect, honesty, and mutual effort? If not, it might be time to reconsider. Empty promises thrive on ambiguity and misplaced trust, but Stoicism equips you with the tools to break free from their hold. By focusing on the present, embracing clarity, and prioritizing your own peace, you create space for relationships built on genuine connection and mutual effort. Remember the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius. Waste no more time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one. Instead of waiting for someone else to live up to their promises, take ownership of your life and live according to your own values. Dealing with empty promises can be disheartening, but Stoicism offers a path to clarity, freedom, and empowerment. By recognizing what you can and cannot control, you stop relying on illusions and start building a life rooted in truth and intentional action. Don't let someone's unfulfilled words define your happiness. Choose your own path, one that values integrity, effort, and peace of mind above empty hopes. Craving their validation. Validation can feel intoxicating, especially when it comes from someone we admire, desire, or care for. But craving someone's approval, particularly in the context of breadcrumbing, can trap you in a cycle of constantly chasing recognition. This need for validation not only affects your emotional well-being but also disconnects you from living in alignment with your true self. In Stoicism, this longing for external validation is seen as a form of slavery. You hand over control of your happiness and self-worth to someone else. Let's delve into the problem of craving validation and how Stoicism offers a path towards self-sufficiency and inner peace. Breadcrumbing thrives on offering just enough attention to keep you seeking more. The person may give you compliments or occasional affection, but never enough to satisfy your emotional needs. Over time, you become dependent on their crumbs, constantly working for their acknowledgement. Stoicism teaches us that this form of dependency is unsustainable because it places your sense of worth in someone else's hands. Marcus Aurelius observed, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." When you prioritize their opinion over your self-respect, you lose sight of your inherent value. At the core of Stoicism is the concept of autarkia, or self-sufficiency. This means finding fulfillment from within rather than relying on external sources. In practical terms, it's about aligning your self-worth with your actions and virtues, not the fluctuating opinions of others. The key question: what makes you truly valuable? Stoics would argue that your value is rooted in living according to virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. These qualities are within your control, unlike the approval of others, which is fickle and fleeting. Epictetus reminds us, who then is invincible? The one who cannot be upset by anything outside their reasoned choice. When you detach from the need for external validation, you become emotionally invulnerable. Craving validation does more than undermine your self-worth. It skews your decision-making, often leading you to act against your own values. You might find yourself agreeing to things you don't truly want just to maintain their interest, overlooking red flags to keep receiving their crumbs of attention, doubting your worth whenever they pull back or withhold validation. As Seneca pointed out, to be enslaved to the opinion of others is a form of cowardice. When you rely on someone else for validation, you surrender control over your own peace and happiness. So, how can you break free from the grip of craving their approval? Stoicism offers actionable steps rooted in cultivating self-respect and embracing rational thinking. Recognize your intrinsic value. Your worth is inherent and does not depend on someone else's recognition. Reflect on your virtues and the actions that align with your values. Remember, compliments or approval from others are bonuses, not necessities. Marcus Aurelius said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Revoking your dependency on their opinion is the first step to inner peace. Detach from opinions. Epictetus taught that we should focus only on things within our control, our thoughts, actions, and judgments. Craving validation means giving power to something outside of your control. Instead, focus on evaluating your own actions based on reason and virtue. Ask yourself, am I living according to my principles? If the answer is yes, then external opinions, whether positive or negative, hold little relevance. Invest in self-improvement. When you focus on personal growth and aligning your life with Stoic virtues, the need for external validation naturally diminishes. Take time to cultivate skills, engage in meaningful pursuits, and foster relationships that are mutually uplifting rather than draining. Seneca advised, associate with people who are likely to improve you. This includes spending more time with people who appreciate and respect you for who you are, not those who offer conditional approval. Redefine validation. Consider what validation means to you. Instead of seeking fleeting praise or attention, focus on internal validation by asking questions like, did I act with integrity today? Did I demonstrate courage when faced with challenges? Have I aligned my actions with my long-term goals and values? As Marcus Aurelius noted, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Redefining validation in terms of internal measures rather than external rewards changes the way you view self-worth. Practical Stoic exercises to combat craving validation. Daily reflection. At the end of each day, journal about actions you're proud of. Focus on what you've done well rather than how others reacted to you. Negative visualization. Imagine a scenario where the person you seek validation from withdraws completely. Ask yourself, would I still find value in myself? This exercise prepares you emotionally for such an event, reducing its power over you. Voluntary discomfort. Spend a day without seeking any external feedback. No compliments, no validation. This practice strengthens your ability to rely on internal measures of self-worth. Craving validation from someone who gives you the bare minimum leaves you in a state of constant uncertainty. Stoicism offers a way out by teaching you to focus inward, prioritize self-sufficiency, and measure your worth by your actions and virtues. As Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, don't be dependent on the external admiration of others. Keep your focus on what truly matters, your own inner strength and integrity. When you break free from the need for validation, you reclaim your agency and peace of mind. Instead of chasing breadcrumbs, you can walk confidently toward a life of fulfillment and self-respect. Mixed messages. Mixed messages can feel like an endless puzzle. One day, you're reassured by kind words. The next, you're left questioning everything because their actions don't match. This inconsistency leads to confusion and frustration, keeping you emotionally unsettled. From a Stoic perspective, mixed messages are a textbook example of letting external forces dictate your inner peace. Stoicism teaches us to anchor ourselves in reason, clarity, and truth, helping us see past the fog of confusing behavior. Let's explore how Stoic wisdom can guide you through the labyrinth of mixed messages. People who send mixed messages often create emotional chaos. They might promise commitment but behave as if they're unavailable. They might compliment you but later make you question their sincerity. The inconsistency creates a tug-of-war that leaves you second-guessing everything. Seneca warns us about these emotional disruptions, saying, "A wise person is not swayed by appearances but by truth." Mixed messages thrive on appearances, tempting you to interpret ambiguous signals in their favor, even when their behavior reveals the truth. In Stoicism, actions always take precedence over words. A key lesson is to align yourself with reality rather than clinging to the comforting illusion of their promises. Stoicism emphasizes logic and rationality as tools to navigate emotional challenges. Mixed messages often exploit your emotions, creating a sense of hope where there may be none. A Stoic approach encourages you to take a step back and evaluate the situation with reason rather than emotion. 2 questions to ask yourself. Do their actions align with their words? If I removed emotions from the equation, what would their behavior clearly indicate? Epictetus reminds us, don't hope that events will turn out the way you want. Welcome events in whichever way they happen. This means accepting the reality of someone's behavior without sugarcoating it with wishful thinking. When someone's words and actions don't align, it's natural to seek explanations. Maybe they're busy, maybe they're shy, maybe they're just figuring things out. But Stoicism cautions against this type of rationalization. Rationalizing mixed messages prevents you from addressing the core issue, inconsistency. A person's actions, or lack thereof, should speak for themselves. Marcus Aurelius advised, always consider what things are made of and what their nature is. If someone's nature is to send mixed signals, it's wiser to accept this truth than to twist reality to fit your hopes. A cornerstone of Stoicism is the practice of acceptance. Not passive resignation, but a conscious acknowledgement of reality as it is. When faced with mixed messages, acknowledge the pattern, look for recurring inconsistencies. If their actions repeatedly contradict their words, accept this as the reality of their behavior. Stop making excuses. Instead of justifying their mixed signals, trust what their behavior tells you. Embrace clarity. Clarity comes from focusing on what is, not what you hope might happen in the future. As Marcus Aurelius said, the impediment to action advances action, What stands in the way becomes the way. If the obstacle is mixed messages, the way forward is through clear-eyed evaluation. Mixed messages thrive when you invest energy in trying to decode someone else's behavior. Stoicism's dichotomy of control reminds us to focus only on what we can control: our thoughts, actions, and responses, and let go of what we cannot. What's outside your control? Their words and actions, their intentions, feelings, or decisions. What's within your control? How you interpret and respond to their behavior. Whether you allow their inconsistency to disrupt your peace. Epictetus taught, it is not events that disturb people, it is their judgment concerning them. The mixed messages themselves aren't the problem. It's how much weight you give them that affects your peace. Practical Stoic exercises to navigate mixed messages. Fact-based journaling. Write down their words and actions side by side. Observe whether there's alignment. Seeing the discrepancy on paper can help you make rational judgments. Meditate on objectivity. Practice separating facts from feelings. Instead of thinking, they said they care about me, but why aren't they acting like it? Say, they said one thing and did another. This behavior is inconsistent. Set emotional boundaries. Mixed messages can lead to overthinking. Set boundaries for how much energy you'll invest in analyzing their behavior. Seneca said, "Nothing is so bitter that a calm mind cannot find comfort in it." Create that calm by redirecting your thoughts toward things you can control. Apply Stoic justice. Justice in Stoic terms means giving others what they deserve. If their behavior doesn't align with your standards of mutual respect, take that as a sign to reevaluate their role in your life. Stoicism doesn't just encourage passive reflection. It demands action that aligns with truth and reason. If you've recognized that someone consistently sends mixed messages, it's time to act. Courage, one of the 4 Stoic virtues, is about doing what's right even when it's difficult. This might mean having an honest conversation about their behavior or stepping away from the relationship entirely. Seneca advised, "Brave people rejoice in adversity just as brave soldiers triumph in war." Your courage to face mixed messages with clarity and action is a triumph in itself. Mixed messages can pull you into a vortex of doubt and second-guessing, but Stoicism offers a way out. By relying on reason, focusing on reality, and taking control of your responses, you free yourself from the grip of inconsistency. Remember Marcus Aurelius's words, "If someone can show me I'm wrong, I'll gladly change. Until then, I must stick with reason and common sense." When someone's actions speak louder than their words, listen to reason, not to their mixed signals. By living in alignment with your own principles, you'll find peace that doesn't depend on the unpredictability of others. Instead of being a passenger in the confusion of mixed messages, you become the captain of your own calm, steady course. No genuine progress. Few things are as frustrating as feeling stuck in a cycle that leads nowhere. When someone breadcrumbs you, it can feel like you're making progress because of their small gestures of interest. However, over time, you realize there's no genuine growth in the relationship. Instead, you're left in a state of limbo while they retain control of the dynamic. From a Stoic standpoint, this situation reflects the importance of action, clarity, and progress in our relationships and our lives. The Stoics valued purposeful living and saw stagnation as a misuse of the precious time we've been given. Let's unpack how Stoicism can help you break free from cycles of no progress. A relationship lacking genuine progress is like being on a treadmill. You expend energy, but the view never changes. Promises go unfulfilled, intentions remain vague, and there's no meaningful development over time. This kind of stagnation breeds frustration and saps your emotional energy. As Seneca put it, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Waiting for progress where there is none is one of the greatest wastes of your time. The first step toward change is acknowledging that the situation isn't moving forward. The Stoics believe that life should be lived with purpose and intention, always moving toward growth, wisdom, and virtue. Relationships are no exception to this rule. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Stop wasting time in arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Similarly, rather than waiting for someone else to show up authentically or make progress, focus on aligning your relationships with your values, Ask yourself, is this relationship fostering growth, mutual respect, and authenticity? Am I progressing toward becoming a better, more virtuous version of myself through this connection? If the answer is no, the relationship may not align with the Stoic ideal of purposeful living. Breadcrumbing creates the illusion of progress. Occasional texts, small gestures, or promises for the future can keep you invested, even when the situation remains fundamentally unchanged. This false progress keeps you emotionally anchored, hoping that real change is just around the corner. Epictetus offers clarity here. When something seems to be going wrong, it is actually your judgment of the situation that makes it so. Recognize the truth. Progress in any relationship requires consistency, effort, and mutual commitment. Sporadic gestures without meaningful change are not progress. The Stoic dichotomy of control teaches us to separate what we can and cannot control in any situation. When dealing with a stagnant relationship, this principle is essential. What you cannot control: the other person's behavior, choices, and intentions. Whether they are willing to invest in real growth. What you can control: your choice to stay or walk away. Your focus on living a purposeful and virtuous life. The energy and attention you invest in the relationship. Epictetus reminds us, it is not events themselves that disturb people, but their judgments about these events. By shifting your judgment to focus on what you can control, you free yourself from the emotional toll of stagnation. Breaking free from a situation with no progress requires courage, a key Stoic virtue. This courage isn't about recklessness. It's about acting in alignment with your values, even when it's uncomfortable or painful. Seneca said, "Begin at once to live, and count each separate day as a separate life." If a relationship is preventing you from living fully and purposefully, it may be time to make the courageous decision to move on. Moving forward doesn't mean you've failed. On the contrary, it demonstrates strength, wisdom, and respect for your own time and emotional well-being. Steps to break free using Stoic principles. Evaluate the relationship honestly. Remove emotions for a moment and look at the facts. Has there been consistent effort toward mutual growth? Or has the connection remained stagnant despite promises or hope? Refocus on your values. Ask yourself, is this relationship aligned with my principles of integrity, honesty, and respect? Am I staying out of fear of loss, or because it genuinely adds value to my life? As Marcus Aurelius said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Let your thoughts focus on virtue and purpose. Practice detachment. Detach from the outcome of the relationship. Whether it improves or ends, your peace should not depend on another person's actions. Epictetus advises, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is gained by disregarding things that lie beyond our control.
Take decisive action.
Walking away from a stagnant relationship may be difficult, but it's an act of self-respect. Choose progress over illusion. Make decisions that align with your values, even if they're uncomfortable in the short term. Redirect your energy. Focus your attention on areas of your life where progress is possible. Your personal goals, friendships, and self-development. Progress in these areas will not only bring fulfillment, but also remind you of the benefits of purposeful living. In Stoicism, progress is not just about achieving goals, but about growing in wisdom, virtue, and understanding. When a relationship prevents you from advancing in these areas, it's an obstacle to your flourishing. Seneca reminds us, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Letting go of a stagnant connection is not a loss. It's the start of something better, a new chapter grounded in clarity, peace, and purpose. No genuine progress in a relationship is a sign that it's time to evaluate its place in your life. Stoicism teaches us that life is too short for stagnation and illusions. By embracing truth, aligning with your values, and focusing on personal growth, you can break free from emotional limbo. As Marcus Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one. Refuse to let a relationship without progress hold you back. Instead, take courageous steps toward a life of virtue, clarity, and authentic growth. Breadcrumbing is a tactic that preys on emotional dependence, but Stoicism gives you the tools to rise above it. By focusing on what you can control, embracing self-sufficiency, and living in alignment with your values, you can break free from this cycle. As the Stoics remind us, no one has the power to disturb your peace unless you give them permission. Don't settle for breadcrumbs. Choose the fullness of a life built on respect, clarity, and inner strength. If you found this video helpful, consider subscribing for more Stoicism-inspired insights. Share this with someone who might need a little Stoic wisdom in their life. Remember, you have the power to live with purpose and peace. Don't let anyone take that away from you.